Well, initially starting with marijuana.
Oh, okay.
And I mean, hey, I actually was a supporter. I really truly thought that maybe that was beneficial to a loved one that I had and have. And it progresses. I mean, it is an addictive, and I'm not trying to step on anybody's feet that isn't in support of it, but that's my fear. I have a fear of where things would go.
The country doesn't change, one person can't make a difference. But I've been doing this for 30 years, but the country is changing right now. And it's changed from 4 years ago. People are sick and tired of the war. Out of the monetary system and the Federal Reserve doing all those things in secret, bailing out the rich bankers and the special corporation. So the world is changing. If we can win this election, that means the country has even changed more. There will be more like-minded people in the Congress, and the sentiment will be the change. The truth is, most people in Washington aren't really dead set on any philosophy. They're dead set on getting reelected. And what they do, if the people want to go in this direction, it is in their interest, and all our interest, for them to go along. But who would I have with me? I would surround people who are like-minded. I certainly wouldn't put somebody from Goldman Sachs at the head of the Secretary of the Treasury. I need to address the subject on the drugs.
When you talk about this, you are a young man speaking for all of these vital,
I know there's several people here. Well, there are days that do feel lonely, but I feel better when I'm in Washington, D.C. But I'm not trying to get elected by the U.S. Congress. I'm trying to present a case where the people are satisfied with having a different type of president. Okay, she talked about the drug issue. She recognizes that personal choices are very, very important, and I do too. I mean, it's your life, and people should make their choices. And I think that people should see freedom not in different areas like economic freedom. Sometimes people say economic freedom is okay, but personal stuff, I gotta have some rules and regulations because people's personal habits might not satisfy me, whether they're sexual habits or drug habits or whatever. I don't see it that way. I think freedom is freedom. It's your life. Yes, for other people. But when governments embark on trying to protect you from yourself, there's no limits what the government's going to do to you. And that's where we are today. That's why you have seat belts and helmets and FDA telling you what you can eat and drink and how much salt to put in your food. I mean, it's totally endless. But that doesn't explain, or you're still saying, well, so concerned, what if you start legalizing this stuff? Well, you know, the whole thing is before 1937, there was no federal laws against marijuana. You know, and there were some regulations, but they were in the states. If you get the federal government out of this war on drugs, there would still be protection for children. It would be done locally. But the war on drugs, since the early 90s, it's really been only active since the 1970s. And they've spent over $1 trillion on this. And there's been no success whatsoever. Young kids can go out and buy marijuana faster than they can buy alcohol. And alcohol, quite frankly, is a very, very dangerous drug. And, the big question is who protects our children from danger? Well, it's the parents. I mean, one of the see a comparison of young people dying of marijuana versus automobiles. And it's just astronomically different. Alcohol, the prohibition was tried. It was a total failure. But you know, one thing about prohibition of alcohol, back in those old days, they had enough respect for the Constitution. They knew it was unconstitutional to outlaw alcohol. So they amended the Constitution. And it didn't work, so they repealed the prohibition. But today, see, this is another principle. They just run roughshod over regulating us without even considering the Constitution. We go to wars without declaration. The executive branch writes laws that they're not supposed to write. But I am real strongly opposed to the use of drugs. I have a lot of children, a lot of grandchildren, and they're very, very dangerous. But I also know as a physician that the physician prescription drugs are killing more people than the illegal drugs. Costly, and it's costly on your civil liberties too. I mean, I think there's 50,000 break-in with SWAT teams a year without proper authority, and many of these are by mistake. They barge in with guns blazing. There was a story the other day that somebody, there was a veteran back from Iraq. He had a wife and a child, and he heard a noise in the banging. He put his wife and the child in the closet. He grabbed his gun and went out there. And the police had broken the door down. He had his gun. He never unlocked the lock on his gun, and they shot 70 bullets at him and through the guy. And this is all to make us not use these drugs. Yes, drugs are dangerous, but the war on drugs is much more dangerous.